This item here has been sent in by a viewer called Ben. He's a Patreon to this channel, so massive thanks to Ben for sending this in. It is a Halfords polisher. So I've never used a polisher before, but I'm thinking put your buffing pads onto here, and then you can put your compound stuff on the car, and then you can go across with the polisher to save you using elbow grease. Now apparently this doesn't work, and it wasn't supposed to have had a huge amount of use. So yeah, it might be an interesting one. So let's plug it in and let's see what it's doing. I'm just going to leave it in here just in case it does go crazy and ruin the rug. Right, let's plug it in. And I got them to check the fuse, it's not the fuse. Right, so I've plugged it in. Let's see now if it's going to do anything. Right, it didn't do anything, but did you see on the way back it looked like it kicked in for a second? There we go. So it's not working, but ooh. Well, we've seen it had life for a minute. Let's adjust the speed of it down here, make sure it's not a problem with this down here. I bet it's a faulty switch. Right, let's bring it over to the mat and take it apart. How do you take this thing apart? Oh, here we go. We've got, yeah, screws in here. Oh. Okay, yeah, that isn't where I want to be though. I need to be up here. Now, how am I actually going to get up to this section here? Oh! Ah, so the switch is down here. That's already interesting. Right, so we've got some kind of MOSFET there. Cable comes in here. Goes onto the board there. Right, okay, so it's going to be... Really, I just need to take this board. Can I take this board out or not? I think that if I make a note of where these wires go here, I think the whole board will slide out this way, and then I can work on it nice and easily and work out exactly what's happening to the switch, just in case there's some burnt contacts or something in there. Then we'll be able to see it more rather than just putting IPA in there, which would probably just work. I've just labelled it up there, so I've got blue here from the motor, blue from the main cables here, brown from the main cable, and blue to the motor on the same side. So I've just written that down there so I can understand what's going on. Let's unclip these. It's a bit fiddly to get to, but they've got like a little catch that you just need to knock inwards and then they come out. There we go. Here we go. There we go. That's what we can work on now. Really easy rather than struggling. Oh, look at that. We've got a nice bit of fur. Yeah, I think that's some sort of matting. Maybe it's this black stuff down here that's just got matted through. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, look, the fur's all the way up there as well. Well, I'll leave it, but I don't know what that is. Right, so we're there, labelled up here, AC and AC, and these are the two going out. Well, let's put this to one side. So we should be able to just test the switch by just going onto the contacts at the bottom. Right, so this is on, this position. It's working when it's here. And now it's off. Well, I think given the fact that when I had it to begin with and it just gave a little bit of life, I reckon this switch here is just a little bit iffy. Maybe there was some dirt or something caught in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reflow these just in case it is that. They look perfect, but I am just going to tap that. I'm going to cut off that little leg there as well because that's just annoying me. And well, I'll reflow it and then cut off the leg. And then I'm going to just flood this with IPA and just clean it multiple times like that. But I think it's going to be working fine now. So I've just zoomed in on the switch, and you can see there that these are the on contacts up here. So when we put the switch to here, it makes the circuit. And to me, I think they look pretty good. Unless, of course, could it have been possibly stored in a shed over winter, or maybe somewhere damp, and could a kind of bit of moisture have got in there and just sat on the contacts, and just doing this a few times has just cleaned them. You know, metal against metal has cleaned them. I'm just trying to look. It does look like there is a tiny little bit here. Not sure. Well, let's pour some IPA in there and see anyway. Isopropyl alcohol. That's them reflowed there, even though they didn't need it, and I just did these ones here as well because I thought it just looked a little bit, they didn't look very nice. So that's the IPA fully in there now. I put absolutely loads. You can still see it's drying out. I'm going to start to put it back together, and then hopefully in about another 5 or 10 minutes that will be all dried out. Just looked up what a dual action polisher is. So it mimics what we do by hand. So think about when you're waxing a car. You put the wax on and you make circular motions like this while moving forward and while moving sideways. Well, that's exactly what this does. Not only does it spin, but it also, so it spins like this, but also it moves like this as well to mimic your hands polishing. So maybe it does it to create less swirls or something like that. So that's what dual action is. And also, if you have a look here, you can actually see the brushes for the motor, because I was wondering what these kind of coils are. Can you see these little coils here? And they go all the way through, and the brushes go through to this side and through to this side to make contact with the motor in there. So it looks as well that if you could get them, then you would be able to change the brushes as well, which is quite good. So it looks like all the serviceable bits are here, and we don't really need to get into this side of it here, but what you might find is that maybe the gearbox side of it would fail before this side of it. To me, it looks to be quite nicely made. It's just unfortunate that this failed so quick. I wonder whether that's a common problem. I wonder whether loads of these are faulty because of the switch. So it's later on now, and I've been turning this on and off quite a few times, and it's working every single time. Now granted, I haven't been using it for like half an hour continuously, but every time I turn it on and off, it does what it's supposed to do. And as well as that, you can see the dual action. Can you see when it's off, it spins straight, but when it's on, look at it, you can see it moving like that. So that is it for this video. Massive big thanks to Ben for sending it over. The only thing I can think of is dirty contacts on the switch, because the solder joints look perfect. Maybe it's intermittent. Maybe if you were to use this for ages and it heats up, maybe one of the components is failing. But remember, when I got it, it was cold. So it hadn't been used in ages and it wasn't working. And now it is. So I don't think it's a heat related thing. I think it points towards dirty contacts on the switch. But to me, they look pretty clean. But the IPA must have done its job, and now it's working. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a massive thumbs up, and please subscribe for more tea break fixes. Take care. Bye now.